everybody. Welcome to a CineFix Now actual Roundtable. Even though we're sort of sitting in a straight line behind the round table, there is a round table.
Teeny tiny.
There's a round table. I've got a coffee cup filled with water, and I'm sitting casually with my legs crossed. I'm already enjoying this.
I can put my notes up.
Put your notes right there. You wrote on an envelope.
So that I could do that.
Oh, that's kind
Now I
of
have
clever.
a cue card.
No?
Look, it's not a bad idea.
And there it goes.
Except I didn't mean to do that.
You broke my cue
I didn't do
card.
that on purpose.
It might have been a bad
Sabotage.
idea.
Sabotage.
Merry Christmas. It's the season of Christmas, if you didn't know.
Of all holidays.
Of all the holidays.
All of them,
Where does-
including the ones in April.
Kwanzaa,
Our birthday.
Yeah.
Festivus.
There's Festivus. There's
President's Day.
Now, Krampus is a character. He's not the Krampus is not a
He's
holiday.
not a holiday himself.
I never can keep up with Krampus, with what the kids are doing.
I don't
these
even
days.
know what that is.
Krampus is a thing, right?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Is this like
Apparently,
a
it's a thing that guys know
What
about.
kind of thing is it?
I don't remember.
All right, well, let's
I just
skip
remember-
that.
It's,
Wait,
which
which one's the original Santa? The one that's like evil and like spanks kids and feeds
That
them
might be
coal?
Krampus.
I think that might be
be
Krampus.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
the
that
the
does
creature
sound
that
vaguely
Santa was
familiar.
based on, that was originally like a little demon.
The
Yeah.
little demon that was real, that the myth of Santa is
Right.
now based on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, anyway, happy holidays to everybody, including Krampus. And we're getting close to the end of the year. In fact, this is going to be our last CineFix Now Roundtable of 2014. We're going to see you guys again in January. So we're going to be talking a lot over the next couple weeks about our favorite things about 2014. So we thought we'd kick off this home stretch of 2014 with the worst shit of 2014.
Absolute
What
garbage.
was our least favorite, most awful, most uncomfortable, and
What?
by that same token, least comfortable films to watch in 2014?
I'm happy to say my list is not nearly as long as Cruz's. He's got an entire envelope filled
Yeah.
out. I just have a few movies because I think this is, to my credit, evidence that if I think something looks bad, I don't go to there.
There's some of that happening, and the other thing that I thought about this year was there was a lot of very underwhelming films
Right.
that weren't necessarily bad.
Yeah.
You
Right,
know, like
yes.
Godzilla
I didn't
comes
go
to mind.
underwhelming.
Godzilla was a blast to
Yeah.
sit in front of. Like, I went to see it in a huge screen on the Chinese theater, and it was fun to sit there. And every time the monsters were on screen, I was like, ha ha! But the movie was terrible. But it was a good time. So
Yeah,
it's
I
not on my
mean-
list.
You see, the things that made my list, like in the process of actually going through all the movies, were things where I would see it and I was getting increasingly angry. Like I would get mad
Yeah.
all over again, and like those are the movies that made the list. Just Lucy, oh you
No,
mother,
you son of a
That's up
bitch!
there.
yeah,
Still super mad about
yeah.
Lucy.
I was just like, yeah, that was disappointing. It's not on my list.
Yeah.
I have a very long list, but I only put movies that I have seen because I try to see everything.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I
you're a
also
movie
did.
pass.
I know I get a little crazy. So that being said, there are things on here that I put down just in case, but are not underlined because they go in the category of this was bad, but not the worst.
Yeah.
Well, this is what
Right?
we're,
Like
we're talking about.
Transformers 4 and Maleficent are on here, and I wasn't even really going to bring them up because it was like, all right, we knew they were going to be bad. I mean,
Exactly.
like,
Which is why Lucy tops Transformers 4 for
Yes.
me because
Yeah.
like I went in there with high expectations. As a high concept movie goes, I thought it was a pretty good premise. Luc Besson, decent history, but that movie, I mean,
It makes
spoiler
me
alert,
mad.
she turns into a flash drive at the end.
yes.
Holy shit, she does? Okay,
Yes.
see, Lucy wasn't on my
Oh,
list
yeah, have you
because
not
I didn't
seen
see it.
Oh, the whole movie. So she.
It is so-
First of all, there's the.
See, I'm angry
No,
at
hang
Lucy
on.
because there's
Yeah.
a part where she's literally like sitting in a chair and she like goes to Times Square, and then she like goes to the Sahara.
that's in the preview,
and, like,
right?
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
I'm just like, is this a goof?
Are you goofing with me?
But then, double spoiler alert: the whole movie ends with her turning herself into a flash drive.
God,
Yeah.
She
Wow.
turns herself into a.
damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Well,
is
now I'm mad about
a
that,
runny
like-
dump.
I'm-
But
Yeah.
And I know Luc Besson's movies are not the best movies in the world, but I like them anyway.
well, they
I
And
like
this,
some of them.
This is the biggest exception.
they
I mean, there's
can
a certain
be
amount of-
hugely fun ride, and
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson can lead a really fun movie.
Right.
Because The Professional and The Fifth Element were a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were real good, and I think they're certainly a high watermark, and he keeps proving over and over again that they were a high watermark.
Yeah.
But they were a long time ago, and so it's weird to sit here and think like, well, it's Luc Besson. How can it be? It's like, well, but
he did Transporter, right?
no, he produced
Oh,
Transporter.
he produced Transporter.
But he did that one with Robert De Niro and Michelle Pfeiffer, where they were like a mob family hiding and.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, no.
It was.
So anyway,
Lucy.
Compared to Lucy, it was gold.
I guess my point is it's funny how long we hang on to like, well, no, it's Luc Besson.
Yeah.
And I think we can stop saying
I'm looking
that.
at
Oh,
you,
look, it's Ridley Scott.
Right, exactly.
God.
Exactly.
But I mean, just going back to what you were saying, like Exodus, for example, did not make my list because it was just like, well, I didn't really think it was gonna be good, so it's not worst of the year for me.
And it was
Lucy is
fine.
my number one worst of the year.
Yeah.
Transformers 4 on my list, but again, like, of course it was gonna be bad.
I'm
and then
angry
I
at
also
Transformers 4 because it means there might be a Transformers 5 now.
oh,
Did
they're
make a whole bunch of
definitely
money.
There will
like
be.
and a 6 and a 7 or something.
Which
I-
that point brings me to one that's on my list, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My issue with it though, in talking about how much money that it made, because it made so much money,
Yeah.
and it was so bad, and so
See-
and the other problem was at the center of it. I thought the Ninja Turtles, like the way that they handled the actual turtles, was really great. Like I enjoyed the actual turtles themselves,
Sure.
and they were wrapped up in this just runny dump of a movie. and it made a ton of money, and so
Yeah.
that's all we're gonna get. And it's not just about the Ninja Turtles franchise; it's about every attempt at a franchise like that. It's the
Right.
same.
Right.
The GI Joe's is doing the same thing.
Everything that is wrong with Ninja Turtles is wrong with Transformers, is
Right.
wrong with G.I. Joe.
It's just let's wrap up some shiny objects and some whatever, and it doesn't matter. And it's just like it's a lowering of the standards.
Yeah.
And that's the movie that embodied that more than anything else.
right.
The thing
And I know
is,
it's a kids movie. I get that. I
But-
really do. But like, come on, man. Just
Those
like there's
kids,
some
man, they need to get better taste.
But also the thing
God
is, like,
damn it.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles goes in the same Transformers 4 bucket for me, where, like, I got exactly what I was expecting. Once I saw that trailer, that's the movie you got.
Yeah.
And it was,
That's fair.
it
but
was
that doesn't change the
fine.
fact that it's bad.
It was just...
Yeah.
Like
I
whether
fell
it's, like,
asleep.
I knew it was gonna be bad, so I went in and it was bad. That doesn't change the fact that it's bad. Like
But-
you thought
but
it was
it-
gonna be here and it was right here. That means it was right here.
But it's hard for me to think of it as the worst, just because there's so many movies on this list
Yeah, there were a lot of
that
bad
make
ones.
me so much angrier than Teenage Mutant
Right.
Ninja Turtles. Like, there's a lot of people that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles makes really angry because they're like, "It ruined my childhood."
Oh, I'm not worried.
And
about
I'm like, it used to have a brain, evil villain
That's
in
not-
a machine.
That's not my problem with it
It's
at
a
all. My
weird
problem is
fucking
exactly the opposite. It's ruining my future.
right.
Like it's because it's lowering the bar for acceptable franchise kind of, and that's all anybody gets these days.
Yeah.
Is franchise. That's all anybody's gonna make.
Well, I mean, going back to what you were saying about setting an incredibly low level of expectation and then it meeting that low level still makes it bad, I would still say that Transformers for me was a worse movie. Because at least the Turtles, like you and I both like the Turtles themselves, and Transformers, like Marky Mark, I'm like, first of all, that should have been Rick Moranis playing that part. Because he's just like, I'm an inventor. Say hi to your mother for me.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
get the out of here. I don't believe you for a
No,
second.
not at all.
His, like, supermodel daughter,
Yeah.
who's totally useless.
Yeah, Marky Mark lives in Texas, right? Don't mess with Texas.
Don't mess
Hey.
with Texas. The movie on this list that probably makes me the angriest. I don't think it's the
Let's have
worst one on the list.
Let's have it.
Everybody already knows this. Transcendence still makes me the
Still
I
makes
didn't
you
even see
angry.
it.
Lucy is the second worst sci-fi movie of the year because Transcendence exists.
And I might go ahead and just stop you right there.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because.
Just you can.
I
There's plenty
had
of
a
places
hard-
on this channel you can see me go
Yeah.
off about this.
Yeah.
movie.
We had a hard time picking an image of you for the thumbnail of that review where you weren't just, and therefore telegraphing what the review, the upshot of the review was going to be.
I also hated Tammy, which I will qualify by saying I saw several months before it came out, so it wasn't the version that you guys may have seen. So, but however, based on what I saw, there's no way it could have turned out.
There's no way. Unless they reshot.
So correct me if
the
I'm
movie.
wrong. If any of you
No,
guys
Tammy.
No, no, no,
Tammy.
Piece of shit.
Tammy made it on my list, but I didn't underline it because of the comedies that I put even worse than
Yeah.
Tammy.
Like
Tammy-
Such as
Right.
A Million Ways to Die in the West.
That's on
Oh
my
my
list.
god, I forgot about that.
I was just about to get there.
Blended.
Getting hot again.
Hang on.
Blended.
Let's talk about A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Ooh.
And why that was a piece.
Oh, God.
That was so bad.
You guys remember the
I-
trailer for that movie and how it had every single joke from the movie in the trailer?
Yeah.
Not every single good joke. every joke.
Every joke.
There were 7 jokes in the movie. He was trying to do like a really like a epic Western kind of romance thing, but he's Seth MacFarlane, so he was also doing poop and fart jokes and musical numbers. And it's like,
well, that's the other thing. They were the lowest common denominator of jokes, which there's a place for in the world.
Yeah.
But they were not even that good.
And that place
Well,
is not in the middle of like a Western romance that you're trying to be the leading man for some reason.
And if you're gonna go to the lowest common denominator, you have to go with quantity rather than quality.
Exactly.
Like, Dumb and Dumber had just the critical mass of poop jokes, so the whole thing overall was funny. Mm-hmm. Like if it had been
the original.
Yeah, the original. I did not.
If you're gonna go dick and fart, go big dick, go big fart.
If that movie had 2 or 7 poop jokes through, if it had only had 7 jokes, it would have been literally the stupidest movie ever made.
Well, the other thing, like Seth MacFarlane so clearly wants to be like, because he loves classic Hollywood stuff. Like I actually loved him doing the Academy Awards a couple years back.
Yeah,
I thought that was great,
fine.
and he loves that classical Hollywood stuff, and that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to make like an old John Huston movie.
But that's
Christina,
Golden
what
Globe
do you have?
nominated.
I noticed you only had one movie on here.
Sin City: A Dame to Kill For, like, I wouldn't put it as it still makes me angry, but it kind of, it annoys me that they spent that much money and put that much visual style into such a, I did not like the way it treated women in the Eva Green character, and
there's Frank Miller.
Yeah, no, of course.
That's like expecting Chris Brown to come out with a feminist song.
Yeah, exactly. And but the thing is, I didn't object to that in 300 because it occasionally.
Well, there weren't any chicks in
there. There was one woman, and
there was one woman, and then there was a naked dancing girl. But yeah, I didn't expect all that much of it. And it didn't deliver all that much story-wise, but it was very self-important.
They had some great red carpet coverage, though.
It did. Check it out.
Outstanding red carpet.
Really
Clint
good.
was amazing.
Now this one I didn't see, but I can't believe it happened, and that is I, Frankenstein.
Oh wait.
I didn't see that. I wanted to put that on my list just because I'm glad you brought it up. I wanted to talk about it.
I did see
you
it.
You saw it?
And I put it...
Okay, first of all, that was literally a sketch on Saturday Night Live a few years ago. When Twilight was super huge, they did a spoof of it where it was like Frankensteins instead of vampires.
Sexy Frankenstein.
And that is what this movie is.
Yeah.
I, Frankenstein at least looked like you could have a good time watching it.
Neither of them did you have a good time.
Yeah, if you were high as
Well, all of these movies are good if you're high as All of these are good if you're high as Pompeii.
I doubt Transcendence would be good.
Both of them. No, not Transcendence.
You come down off that eye immediately.
But both of the Herculeses.
Both of the Hercules.
I'd watch them.
The Herculi movies were probably pretty bad.
Well, I feel like
Kellen Lutz's was
Which
worse.
one was? Oh, I was just gonna ask.
Yeah. What else was super bad?
I hated Snowpiercer. I know that's controversial.
I like Snowpiercer.
Hated it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
No, I liked it. I didn't love it though, but I did rather quite like it.
I thought about bailing on it. I didn't watch it in theaters. I was watching it on Netflix or something, and I actually thought about turning it off.
I can understand not liking it. I can see how you would not like it. Putting it on the worst of the years, though.
For me, it is.
Yeah?
Really? I'm getting angry again.
Okay.
Okay. Of all the ones on my list, of all of the ones on this list, I have Vampire Academy on there. I have the Noahs and the Herculeses and the Pompeiis, Into the Storm. One of the top ones.
Into the Storm. I couldn't take it seriously because I was like, "There's no
It's
way
the
that's
one-
not just a TBS
It's the one
movie.
where this town gets attacked by tornadoes and hurricanes and
It's just like, hey, we figured out how to do tornadoes better since Twister.
Yeah.
So let's make a movie.
So
but they
let's-
didn't put anybody in it.
No, but also let's make these tornadoes Twister. I love Twister.
Twister,
great.
I
But
remember
it was a
loving
movie about storm chasers.
Yeah.
This was a movie about Revenge of the Tornadoes.
It was the Jaws 2 of tornadoes.
so they
Immortalize the storm?
They actually got attacked by tornadoes, not just there were tornadoes.
No,
but,
there were tornadoes, but they came to a town and they it was the one where
So it's tornadoes. This time it's personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the
It's like
trailer
Tornadoes
had
2, Electric Boogaloo.
the trailer had a tornado coming towards the airport and every single plane flipping and flying up into the air.
It was big spectacle. It was big rolling Roland Emmerich kind of storm spectacle
Yeah.
with like buildings cracking in
I
half
don't
and
remember
falling
this
over.
coming out.
But there was nobody in
at
it,
all.
and like that's I honestly thought that it was a movie like a TNT movie.
But that's because nobody wanted to be in it.
Sure. Okay, well
But-
we settled that.
But the number one movie,
Worst
even,
movie
even
of
more than
2014.
Transcendence,
Wow.
even more than Left Behind,
Lucy as well.
even more than Lucy, even more than the John
Okay,
Cusack,
okay.
Thomas Jane Drive Hard thing. But the worst one, I think, to me, was Winter's Tale.
Oh yeah, what the was that movie?
That was my
that
worst
was one that I skipped because I was like, I don't know what you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, are you an angel or a vampire
Or a
or
time
are you
traveler?
a
Are you a
time
time
traveling
lord?
man in
Now
love?
remind me,
Like,
I don't even remember this one either.
Winter's Tale is the one where Colin Farrell,
Colin Farrell, Russell Crowe is there.
he is from the past,
Okay.
and he gets teleported into the present,
Where somehow Russell Crowe is also
where
still
Russell
there.
Crowe is still there and he's evil, and he's trying to find his true love, who's dead.
What's super weird about
I mean, there's a lot more to that. There's a lot more to
that's
that
in
movie.
broad strokes.
But like, I don't need to say more than that.
and that's why I skipped it, because seriously, like I saw the trailers and I read the synopses and I was like, I don't know what you are.
Yeah.
No, it
thank
didn't
you.
know what it was.
I do not know
Well,
what
it's
you are.
adapted from a novel where it's just like this is a fantasy novel thing, you know,
Yeah.
like maybe a little urban fantasy, but still I feel like the trailers and oh no, we're just gonna make it into a like modern Manhattan romance or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
That's not how you adapt. If you're going to adapt a fantasy novel, commit to adapt.
You have to go
fantasy
Kate and
novel.
Leopold.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like it felt like the dramatic Kate and Leopold.
That's
Yeah,
always
I was like,
good
look,
advice.
I got all I needed from Kate and Leopold.
Yeah.
That
like-
movie was adorable.
It was.
Right.
It was really.
And
was.
it was adorable, and you watch the trailer and you're like, okay,
I know what that is.
I know what that is.
And I bet it's adorable, and I'm there. All right. Well, that's a pretty good. I mean, we could be angry about mediocre movies in 2014, literally until the cows come home, as
Yeah,
they say.
there's-
Right.
What about movies coming up in 2015?
Negativity for the future.
Negativity for the future?
Now that we're at the end of the year, we got some negativity cached. We need
Right.
to get it out of our systems before the holidays.
Yes, let me move down to the part of my list that says "Hell's no."
Hells no,
2015.
2015.
That's literally what it says.
I know, I saw it earlier, and I was like, I can't wait.
I'm gonna start with 50 Shades.
I
Yeah.
want to
Just
see
the
it.
principle.
I'm in the 50 Shades.
I'm morbidly curious, but it's definitely at the top of my my like. What
I think it's going to be pretty bad, but it's going to be one of those train wrecks I got to see.
I
Okay,
think
no.
I think it's
It's-
gonna surprise everyone and actually be kind of good.
Well, everybody's going to really like the movie because they're going to watch it and they're going to go home and they're going to try some new shit. Like that's,
Yeah,
and then
well,
everybody's going to
that's
have like
true.
really fond memories about 50 Shades of Grey because they're like, that was the night we got adventure.
But I
That's
also
what
see.
pornography is for.
yeah, but
I
you
also
know,
secretly think that like the people in charge of this movie knew that this was going to be the expectation, right?
well, they're putting it out on
No,
Valentine's Day.
So
Oh,
they
Lord.
knowing that the expectation of this reaction is coming, if it was me in their position, I would have been like, I'm gonna work 3 times as hard to make this at least like a B+, A- like decent movie.
I love that assumes that people are like double blinding us with
Yeah.
like, no, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to be good at my job because these people think I'm not. Like,
I wanted to surprise us all.
well, look, I Dakota Johnson, Ben and Kate was one of my favorite shows when it was on. And Dakota Johnson was so cute. And so there's part of me that's like, oh, but you're sweet. Don't do this. And
See,
then there's other part of me that's like, yeah, no, go ahead.
See, I didn't like her, so I want to see her get spanked.
Yeah?
See, but the
Okay.
guy, I don't know if I have an opinion about that guy, but he seems weird.
Jamie Dornan or
Yeah.
whatever his
He
name is.
seems weird, but in a seductive way.
Is
Yeah,
he
no,
is he weird and like a rich dude gonna tie
I
me
mean,
up
I
weird?
just-
Because that would be fine. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's-
I guess I don't know if I guess I prefer that to somebody, some
if you would've
actor that I actually have a
relationship
legitimate,
with?
like, I rather like this actor connection with, because I feel like either way I'm going to be kind of uncomfortable.
Would you
So you're
prefer
saying-
Charlie Hunnam? Charlie
Hunnam.
Or I was gonna say Tom Hanks, since actors you might have a
I would
connection
have
with
definitely
already.
preferred Tom.
Yeah, if Hanks was gray, and then that would have been. I'd have been into this movie on a whole other.
If this was like the revitalization of the Tom Hanks Meg Ryan movies,
Oh my god! Oh my god! That would have been amazing.
I mean-
That's why I was so disappointed when Meg Ryan went off the deep end, because I was like, you're supposed to grow old together on screen
Yeah.
with Tom Hanks and be in sexy movies.
But
Like,
then
Or
she
not
did all
even
those
Tom
things to
Hanks.
her face.
Then there was the other guy that she was also a really good pair with. From like You Got Mail.
That was
and-
Tom
That was
Oh,
Tom
that
Hanks.
was Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
You're thinking of
No.
Tom Hanks.
No. What about Sleepless in Seattle?
Tom
That's
Hanks?
Tom
Tom
Hanks.
Hanks.
What?
You're doing this
I
on
mean,
purpose
like,
now.
She was in Kate and Leopold, though, wasn't she?
She was.
She was in
And
Kate
that was
Leopold.
Hugh
I
Jackman.
know that was
That
Hugh
was
Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Anybody
But yeah,
can be
the-
charming when you're sitting across from Hugh Jackman.
Also in my Hell's Nah, Magic Mike XXL.
Just because they called it XXL.
And because the
Partially,
first one
I
sucks.
mean that
The
made
first
me
one was
when I saw that was the name, I was like, oh, this is definitely on.
No, hells no.
Yeah, the first one was a turd.
That being said, Channing Tatum has promised all of the fans that everything that they hated about the first movie will not be in the second movie.
So it's
So
just,
it's going to be a lot more dancing and a lot less talking. So you might like it.
so just go to a
Maybe.
strip club.
Yes.
Done.
All that said,
Glad
I
we
don't feel
figured
like
that out.
anybody's gonna fault you for not seeing Magic Mike XXL. It's
I will
not,
fault you.
It's not one of those required viewing movies.
It's a good plane movie.
It's one that you see.
Yeah, that's a movie you want like
You-
somebody else's kid sitting next
Next
to
to
you
you.
while
That's
you watch.
exactly what I was thinking.
That's- What else in 2015? Christina, you got one that you
The
just
Point
good?
Break remake.
That's on my
Yeah,
list
that's
too.
fair.
Mostly because of how dare you.
I really want to like pull a white glove off one finger at a time and slap
Slap
somebody.
someone with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's gonna be upsetting, especially because people keep dropping out and
And are we now at the
rejoining.
point-
And also
Where-
because the first one nailed it, leave it alone.
And then they already remade it and they called it Fast and Furious. And then now we've got plenty of those also. So I don't get it.
In a weird way, Set It Off is kind of Point Break.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the same
Yeah.
basic story.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just no reason to do Point Break. So there's no win there.
It's not a
At all.
franchise. It's just.
Yeah.
A
Oh
movie
no, they'll
that
make it a
was-
franchise.
Oh no, but it's
They'll
of
make it a
course
franchise.
now
Point
it's a franchise.
Broken too.
Right.
Electric Boogaloo.
Electric
Come on.
Boogaloo.
We're on Taken 3. How many times can
Point
they
Break
be taken?
2. Point Break 2.
Three.
Revenge of the Tornadoes from Into the Storm. That would be something.
One I feel like has good angry making potential is Pan, the Peter Pan retelling.
Yeah.
Like, it could potentially be quite good because it looks like it's a new and original take on things, although I think the flack is deserved for casting Rooney Mara as Indian Princess Tiger Lily.
Yep.
Like, really?
Here we go again.
Yeah.
But also like if you allow for the Exodus justification of like, well, the really big stars need to be in it in this really big roles. Tiger Lily is
It
not a
doesn't
big
qualify.
role.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Rooney Mara is
Right?
not really a big star. She's
No.
just the whitest person in the entire world.
She's
Yeah.
pretty much
She's
translucent.
more or less opaque, yeah.
And yeah, so clearly the trailers make it clear that like it's not an Indian tribe, it's just white people who wear bright colors.
Sure.
But like
The little bit of hope that I have held out for that movie is I do think Joe Wright is really interesting director.
Oh, yeah.
So it's gonna look cool
Oh,
because
it
his
looks
Anna
frickin'
Karenina
amazing.
was
His Anna Karenina was
gorgeous and really great to
and
watch.
it could potentially be quite good.
Yeah.
Except for the whitewashing thing, which I think is a much larger discussion.
Unless
than
they're
this.
hippies.
But-
And
Unless
then
they're
it's
just
okay.
hippies. And that's a
But
different
then, but then you could make somebody else
Native
not
American
white. Yeah.
thing.
hippies.
Stop
No.
being so white.
But like the fact is that if it's not good, it's gonna be real bad.
Yeah, it does have the opportunity to just be a dumpster fire of a movie.
I have the same.
It's gonna be a work of art in how it looks, I think, because visually Joe Wright's a really interesting guy, and Hugh Jackman's got his head shaved, so that's gonna be weird to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got that going for it. Outside of that, I don't know what the hell. It doesn't at all look like the Peter Pan I've ever.
Yeah.
Which I
Seen
think is
or
the
heard about.
point.
Right.
Yeah.
As opposed to
So we don't
Cinderella.
need Indians. We can just have white people.
As opposed to Cinderella, which
As long
looks
as
like
they wear bright
A
colors.
lot of people have been saying that for a long time.
I know. Right? It's kind of what this country was founded on.
It's literally funny because
Oh,
it's true.
Well, look, the good news is we have plenty of time to get super mad about movies that are coming out in 2015 because a lot of these trailers haven't even come out yet. So we don't know anything. So we didn't even get to talk about San Andreas, and we don't have time. San Andreas, I think, is going to be awesome. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now. Yeah.
The only reason I was disappointed by that trailer is because I thought it was the Grand Theft Auto trailer. And then it
This
turned
is
out
The
No,
Rock
this is
driving
the
fast.
one
This is going to be Grand Theft
Where
Auto,
The
right?
Rock punches an earthquake in the face.
If The Rock punches an earthquake, we're going to have a winner on our hands.
Yeah.
It's all the Academy Awards. Guys, let us know what movies you hated back in 2014. Way back in 2014. Get all the negativity you need to get out of your system. It's the holidays.
Oh, and come back and see our positive movies.
Oh, yes! Over the next 2 weeks, we are going to get some positivity out of our system in addition to all the negativity. So stay tuned for all of our picks for some of the big and small best movies of 2014. We'll be doing those over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So stick around, click like and subscribe, and come back next time. Bye!
For real this time.
I'll cut around the first one.
Now that you've said that, you